cheddar broccoli soup from a soup mix by Bear Creek Country Kitchen. Yeah. Well, I am here to say that I know myself deceased around this soup, and I'm ready to eat something from a restaurant. But I would still make soup for myself, but I would need to make, I don't know, maybe not this much. This is a lot of soup. It's half of the packet. So, what I would like to say is, I don't know myself deceased in the money, but I know myself deceased in the hand. I don't have karma to be here. I am eating something that belongs to somebody else, and I'm not eating what is mine to myself where I am. And you are very far in the wrong that way, because where I would be in my original house, and I could tell you the address, but I wouldn't really need to know because it's homeless inside of my house. That means I can move if I want to, but I would say no. It's my house. I want my original room for me, and then I also use all the rooms in the house because the whole house is mine. So why am I not there? For all the reasons that I'm here. And it's not due to be here. It's not due to tell you that I died out of creation's all of this leverage in this formed world. I died out of being formed by Jesus. Can anybody else say that? What I would like to say with my other self deceased is I am deceased in two ways in this Godhead, which means I am deceased in all the possible ways. For those of you who are shopping around for ways to execute myself, because you don't care, because you want to get something out of that, you are alone in the wrong. You want to make it in the wrong. You don't want to concentrate yourself on being alone in the wrong. You want to be in the wrong. And that means you are just blend in with the public. It's sort of like you don't have a name that way. And you should not be using your name at all times because you don't have a name at all times. That's the crime you're doing. That's going to stop. When I lie alive out of this world, I mean die out of this world, I am not going to be elsewheres. I will be myself deceased. And then it will not be significant that you tried to say that you don't have a name when you're in public, except when you've been charged by God for things that you want from public, such as food. You're not supposed to have anything from public. If you have a name, that's because you owe money to the bank, is in the bank. And if it's not, there's nothing you can do about it. You're not supposed to spend money on your permissions given to yourself, and you also give permissions to myself because you outnumber myself another way. When you use a credit card to pay a charge, say it's $100, you are giving yourself permission to do $100 of damages in the transaction, and then whatever the value of it is to God. And then all upon that is I am myself deceased, and I don't have that problem. I don't have a credit card that accumulates a credit card limit, and I don't have banking that accumulates money in the bank in my name. So how did I end up here if I don't have any banking? Well, who put money in the bank in my name? Because that is approximately that Donna was charged money for food for myself. What's wrong with her? She didn't refuse to pay it because it was not my money paying the cashier. And that's why I was a child-sized Godhead eating in my house, and she was doing that. I got money in the bank that way, and it wasn't like me in the wrong. It was that between Donna, Mom, and the cashiers, they didn't give the food for free to myself every time she's there. That means she wasn't due to buy food for me ever, and the cashiers never fought with her that she doesn't come back to my house. That means the cashiers were due to go to jail and prison with her every time she bought something, which would be estimate once a week. So why is my name in the bank? Well, I didn't put my name in the bank. And I didn't name myself and get a name in the bank. I didn't have a name in the bank and say, that's me and that's my money. Well, you have all these problems. There's so many worlds that just died right there that you don't have paid for. That's how many ways Donna Mom doesn't live in my house. Well, it looks to me that God made it alive for myself to have banking because you approximately have the question collectively as public that you don't want to believe in myself as God deceased. And you lived that way for, so far, 45 years of alive. That means it was a heavy question. And I have some banking in my name for that reason. You could say no. I suppose you're not ready to hear that. Can we have a continuance until the afterlife, and we can revisit that subject, what you believe and how firmly you want to believe it anymore in the afterlife when you're not checking my address? I'm not even Jesus. So why are you checking my address? I can't get rid of you with a box of Twinkies. I'm ready to make my own soup with whole milk, cheddar cheese, Colby Jack cheese. Oh, thank you. And some fresh broccoli. And then whatever makes it thicker, like soup, you know. So, like, well, we were looking at the ingredients, and it says cornstarch, but I don't know how to make soup with cornstarch. I don't know what makes it thicker, really. I would say flour, but I might just be wrong about that. I don't know. I can't do that in this kitchen here. I need a new key, a new kitchen with a lot of space where I can have all the ingredients out on the countertop, and I can have a clean stove that I can afford to cook on. Just maybe enough for. I would have to see how the ingredients come from the store. So like, how much can I make at once? I don't know. I would normally look at a recipe, but now that I know how you folks get recipes, I don't actually want somebody else's recipe. And I want God to help me to make it, myself. Like as much as you could, I want to be able to do that myself. Even though, like, if it's published, let's say it's in a book from a bookstore, yeah, but look at how everyone's using the internet. I would look at a book in a bookstore. Now I have to look on the internet. Uh, like where? Recipes.com? Recipenis. I know Recipenis. I don't have a penis, but it's Recipenis because there are people with a penis and alive. Don't forget to add salt. Okay, salt. So if I buy fresh broccoli, how do you get it to be so it's in the soup? Um, do you have to chop it? I don't. Is there any broccoli? That's one thing about this soup mix. It's solved in here. There's no broccoli stalks or anything fibery, if that's the word. It just looks like the top of the broccoli, like the florets tops, right at the top. I don't see anything of broccoli in here that's not fully soup, ready for soup to eat it. It's but there's some green in here, which is from the broccoli, I think. Yeah, I would put broccoli in the soup. Do you like it that way? I don't know if I like it that way. I've never made it. I have to make it and see if I like it. Confession session, and I can't hear you through the camera, through the internet. Confession session. How many of you have made a key and you go in someplace and you obtain food and you cook it for yourself in a kitchen inside of someplace? You have a key that you made. I might be in somebody's made a key problem, but I didn't made a key myself. Otherwise, I'd be elsewhere, as I assume. How do you get a key that you want? How do you make a key that you want? Do you just don't believe me and say, oh, well, you're in a key that you don't want? That's just your God and give you a key that you want. Yes, you have a made a key problem. You're not allowed to talk about that with me because I didn't made a key myself. You don't want to owe me any money, so you go inside of a key and trespass until you completely murder the property. I'm not Jesus. That means there's no one coming to help you with that. So what's going to happen to you? I'm deceased right here. That's what's happening to me. What's going to happen to you about that you don't believe in me? You don't know that I'm God deceased. You just don't know. You don't, because right now you're using keys that are, did somebody made a key? Did somebody give you a key? Yeah, from where? What's going to happen to you because I didn't give you the key and it's mine? You have some kind of keyed up problem. You're keyed up into that you don't believe in me. And you have a lot of thick consumption of that you don't believe in me. You're so hard, you really don't believe in me because you're so far in the wrong. You just acknowledge that by that you don't believe in me. Yeah, but I'm me. Where are you going with that? Where are you going in the afterlife? Going to sleep? Who's going to sleep you? I have an overlord that sleeps me. I'm deceased. If you want to have food, clothing, and shelter for the length of my lifetime, I would not mislead you into the darkness that will be at the end of all time. That means you did something malicious and you knew it. So, what you disbelieve in is if I say, I'm a very good person, I'm not going to the end of all time, I'm eternal and I will go on to do great things elsewhere. And then you say, me too. Yes, but I am God deceased right here. What I'm saying is, I am deceased here, and in the afterlife, I will be deceasing myself out of this Godhead as God deceased elsewhere. It's still deceased in the afterlife for me. So I'm not going on to do great things. I am myself deceased. I am none higher than he deceased right here, and that's eternal. So I'm not making a separation about how we are consuming something with jealousy, and I am going to be free of your jealousy. It's true, that's how you believe in me. You threaten me with jealousy, and that's what you believe in. I can't leave that. I wouldn't say that I would leave that, but I will say that I am deceased. That means you chose to be in that consumption of what you believe in, and that you don't believe in me or you disbelieve in myself. And it's true that I don't change you with myself and my statement here. I don't really want all the happy I have had in public. I think it's misleading you as to how angry I am. Have you been pumped full of lead? LED, led in a certain direction. I've been led myself in a certain direction. Who has misled you away from myself? Well, I'm not a cult figure. You're doing jails and prisons in an unclean death of yourself, deceased out of an address. That means when you're in the prison, the address is deceased and you get an unclean death after that. I don't have a promise that you would believe in me because I'm a cult figure that's going to give you a group death in an address. That's illegal. No, I don't agree with that.